All right, everybody, thank you and welcome to Connect Women Innovators, the pitch competition that brings together leading members of the media with top women-led startups. I'm Jim Glade and I'm a principal at Publicize, which is a PR firm for growth. And I'm joined today by Helene Deutsch, a Connect organizer and a colleague of mine at Publicize. We're both really pleased to be joined today by a host of leading journalists who cover some of the world's most innovative female entrepreneurs. And we're equally privileged to host 7 very exciting startups as they pitch their ventures in front of these distinguished media judges. Before we begin, I just wanted to mention that if anybody listening has any questions regarding PR, feel free to reach out to me at jim@publicize.co or info@publicize.co. Before we begin, we're also honored to host a really great speaker today who's going to really help us kick off the event and get us in the mood. We have Wenjie Kai, who is the founder and CEO of Polymath Ventures, a venture studio that builds digital platforms to empower the middle class of Latin America. Wenjie, thanks so much for joining us today. We'd love to hear a little bit more about what's going on at Polymath.
Great. Thanks, Jim, so much for the invite and for all the support from Publicize. In terms of Polymath, as Jim mentioned, we build companies that basically empower the emerging middle class in Latin America. So we're figuring out what are the fintech solutions, e-commerce solutions, service marketplace solutions that really transformed industries and transformed the lives of people. So how do we give them better income opportunities, and how do we give them services, better quality services or products at a price that they can afford? And so, I founded Polymath 10 years ago. It's been a great ride, very hard, but also incredibly purpose-driven and impactful in terms of what we've been able to build. So across the companies, we have served millions of people in the emerging middle class in Latin America. And today, we sell probably close to $100 million across the companies that we created at Polymath so far. And I was really excited to join the event and share some thoughts. And one thing that came to mind when I was thinking about what I would speak to a group of women entrepreneurs and innovators and leaders is like a lesson I've learned and what I feel I can use in my daily life in continuing to push Polymath forward, right? And so I'm originally Chinese, or was born in China, and we learned this like small story. I think it's called like an illusion. I think that's the translation, where in ancient times, people would race their horses. And so there were 2 people, and one person was like much richer than the other one. And they were racing 3 horses, like kind of the low grade, mid grade, and high grade horses. And of course, the less rich noble, all 3 of his horses were worse at each level, right? Than the richer one. And so the way he did it was he raced his top horse against somebody's mid horse, and the mid horse against the lower horse, and of course, like the lowest horse against the top horse, which lost, but he won 2 out of 3. And I think sometimes when we think about being, women leaders in the world, I do think, for the rules of the game in the business world and in many other disciplines are kind of not even like maliciously, but just built based on more like male attributes, or at least nurturing things. I think that's just the reality of the world that we live in. And there's nothing like, nobody's inherently trying to make it unfair, or at least I think most people aren't, but it's just the rules of the game have been built that way over time, right? And I always think a lot about, how do you raise horses according to this fable against that? So I think women often are very good at certain things, overgeneralizing a little bit, but for example, being purpose-driven leaders, which can be super inspirational, being great at stakeholder management, because to be a good stakeholder manager, you should have less ego, so you can kind of move in tandem with all the people out there. Usually, recruiting and figuring out what people are good at and putting them in the right positions, which probably is the single most important thing you could be doing as a founder. So communications, right? Being able to explain clearly what, why, how, and so I think everybody's different. So my advice is to think about like which horses you're racing and how do you win the overall game, through that type of like thinking about what you're really good at and not necessarily going at every single level based on the way that the system is set up, right? So that's the small piece of advice I wanted to share, and want to wish the best of luck for today, as well as everything that you're doing going forward.
Wendy, that's fantastic, and thanks for sharing that as well. Really appreciate you having here. If you're comfortable, if you want to share any contact information or a website for Polymath as well, if anybody would like to learn more, please feel free to do so in the chat. And again, thanks, Wendy, for taking the time to speak.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the invite. Good luck to everyone.
All righty. Well, thanks again. And really, we have such a big event going that we're going to jump right into meeting our media judges. Judges, if you would, after we go over your bios, if you wouldn't mind just hopping on, saying a brief hello so we can put a face to a bio, that'd be fantastic. Really happy to say that joining us for her second Connect Women Innovators event, we have Deanna Ransom, who is the executive editor at Inc. magazine, where she basically does everything. She, from managing and editing staff writers to writing and columnists to organizing editorial calendars and the Inc. 5000, which is a ranking of the fastest growing private companies. Diana has her hand in almost everything in the magazine. Before joining Inc., she also worked for publications including the Wall Street Journal, Entrepreneur Magazine, and the New York Daily News. Deanna, thanks again for joining.
Thanks for having me. It's a small shop, so we end up all wearing a bunch of hats over at Inc. So,
well,
we kind of all do everything. So.
No, it sounds like you're carrying a lot on your shoulders too, Deanna. So thank you so much. I don't know, Helene, would you like to introduce our next?
Yes. So our next media judge is Dominique Madore Davis, who is a senior reporter at TechCrunch, one of the foremost authorities on technology and startups news based in the United States. And at TechCrunch, she covers venture capital and startups, as well as diversity and equity in the tech ecosystem. And before joining TechCrunch, Dominique reported on entrepreneurship and fashion at Business Insider, and she was also the chief copy editor at the Daily Trojan, which is a newspaper of record of the University of Southern California.
Thanks, Dominique.
Hi. Super excited for today's event. So yeah.
Awesome. Next up, we have Christina Criddle, who is a technology reporter for the Financial Times, the world's leading global business publication. At Financial Times, Christina covers some of the largest tech firms, including TikTok, Amazon, and Apple. Before joining FT, Christina was a multimedia reporter for the BBC, producing stories for TV, radio, and digital, including The Instagram Effect, a documentary featuring exclusive interviews with former employees and users impacted by the platform. She's also written for The Telegraph, The Evening Standard, and The Huffington Post, among others. Really honored to have you with us today as well, Christina.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I'm joining from sunny London, and this is a nice way to finish off my day.
Awesome.
Okay, our next judge is Kate Lawrence, who's a senior writer at The Next Web, a leading global technology news publication and event organizer based in Amsterdam, which is owned by the Financial Times. And Kate covers everything from smart cities to cybersecurity to mobility and IoT. And she's previously written for publications including Read Write and D-Zone, among many others. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, and welcome everybody. I'm so excited. I spend most of my work life in kind of a sausage fest of lots of men. So this is just like living the dream for a few hours. What reality could be like. Super excited.
Awesome, live it up. Actually, Kate's in Berlin, and Helene
Yep.
is in Germany right now as well. So you guys might have to link
Oh,
up.
sweet.
Next up, we have Navanita Sachdev, who is the editor of The Tech Panda, one of India's leading technology news sites. She's also a regular contributor to the Indian Express, Entrepreneur India, and the Business Standard, one of India's leading business publications. Navanita, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a great honor.
It's always really good to have you.
Okay, next is Tamara Scott, who's the senior managing editor of Tech Republic, one of the leading trade publications for information technology professionals. And her journalistic background stretches back over a decade. Previously, she worked as a managing editor of Small Business Computing and Technology Advice, which are B2B technology sites that provide unbiased advice and product recommendations to over 2.1 million business technology buyers each year. She also has a background in education, working as a technical writing instructor at Vanderbilt University. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, Tamara. Next up, we have Emma Newberry, who's the managing editor of the Bogota Post, Colombia's leading English language news source, which features both digital and print editions. The publication is a trusted resource for English speakers interested in the country, and in nearly a decade since its inception has covered multiple elections, including the most recent of Gustavo Petro and the Colombian peace process with the FARC guerrillas. Also, before founding the Bogota Post, Emma worked as a consultant to cities bidding to host the Olympic Games. Emma, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
It's great to have you back.
Okay, and then last on our list is Bridget Botello, which is an award-winning writer, editor, and editorial director. She currently is the editorial director of Tech Target, which is the leading news source for technology vendors and buyers. And after completing her degree in journalism at Northeastern University, Bridget collected over 15 years of experience at Tech Target, overseeing a broad range of technology coverage for an audience of IT professionals. Great to have you here, Bridget.
Hi, thank you. I have a team of over 20 tech journalists, and we get pitches from tech startups every single day. So I look forward to sharing with you guys the things that we look for, especially with startups.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bridget. And thanks to everybody. I know your insights are going to be extremely valuable today. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and start the pitch competition. So startups, as I mentioned, I'm going to bring you on in the presenter role. You'll be able to share your screen. You'll be presenting for 2 minutes, and I will be timing. After each 2-minute slot is over, we'll open up for brief questions and answers from the journalists. Journalists, don't be shy. Feel free to shout out any questions or feedback that you have. It's very relaxed in the format. So we'll go ahead and bring up our first presenter, Jimena Aleman from Prometeo Open Banking. Jimena, give me 1 second and I'll give you the presenter role. All right.
I won't be presenting.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, no worries. Whenever you're ready, feel free to start and I will start the timer and we'll go from there.
Okay, perfect. So hi, my name is Jimena Aleman and I am co-founder and co-CEO of Prometeo. Every 15 days, the annual GDPs of LATAM goes through the banking network, every 15 days. This means how important are banking networks for LATAM's economy. However, most banks don't provide the one single feature that's needed in the 21st century, and that's an API. Prometeo provides a single API, a single point of access to banks across Latin America. Through our API, our customers can connect with more than 110 APIs from 40 financial institutions in 10 countries of the region. This makes Prometeo the largest open banking platform in Latin America. Using our connectivity platform, our customers can access banking information to process credit scoring, automate treasury processes, and make payments, Next week, we'll be launching our payment initiation platform. And this is something really, really new in Latin America. Using our infrastructure, merchants will be able to turn their own bank accounts into their payment gateway, with the possibility of receiving digital payments with no intermediaries, directly from their customer's bank account to their bank accounts. Of course, that all of this makes us really, really proud, but what makes us more proud is the customers that are supporting our journey. Citibank in 4 countries of Latin America, Santander in Mexico, and Rappi in Mexico. Because together, we are building new financial infrastructure, igniting new opportunities and igniting the future of Latin America. Thank you.
All right, fantastic, Jimena. And under time, which is always appreciated for me, who's always watching the clock. We'll go ahead and we'll open up for any questions or comments from the journalist panel. Don't be shy.
So it sounds like you solve a problem. That's great. The API access is interesting for banks across the country. I'm wondering, do you already have customers? Or is this something that's in beta currently?
No, we have customers. Citibank in 4 countries of Latin America, Santander in Mexico, Rappi in Mexico, and more than another 40 financial companies across the region.
And so those reference customers would be available to talk to media?
We can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we look for. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask what infrastructure you have to make sure that the API is completely secure?
So yeah, our team is specialized in cybersecurity for the financial sector. My background is in sales and marketing, but my co-founder used to work for AT&T, providing cybersecurity assessment for financial institutions. So he brought that expertise to Prometeo, and our architecture is designed to be compliant with the necessities of financial institutions. And that's key, especially to onboard customers as Citibank and Santander, and of course, Rappi, which are large financial institutions.
And how many people do you have working in the cybersecurity team?
In the cybersecurity team, we have 4 people right now. We have 40 people in total in the company.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions from the media panel? No? All right. Well, Jimena, thank you so much for a great presentation, and congrats on everything you're building so far.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll jump into the next startup. We'll bring on Beatrice from Musicassa. Beatrice, give me 1 second and I'll give you the presenter role. There you go. All righty, Beatrice, you should be able to share your screen.
1 second, I'm hiding here all the things that Zoom has for us.
Yeah, sorry, I hate to put you on blast like that, right?
Can everyone see my screen correctly?
Yeah, we can see your screen. There's like a black, I'm not sure if that's part of the present. That might be part of the presentation.
No,
Right.
that's Zoom. Sometimes it does that to me. We're in.
Oh, okay.
I just need to hide it. If you would give me 1 sec.
Of course.
It's not letting me move my mouse. Can you help me stop sharing my screen so that I can move it?
Sure thing. 1 second.
Thank you everyone for your grace on this technology day.
No stress.
We've all been there, no worries.
All good.
Okay, I am ready to be a host again so that I can present.
Okay, let me give you the co-host role. All right, give it a try now.
Okay. It should be better now. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
All right, sounds good. Just go ahead and start, and I'll start the timer.
Okay. We are living in an era of extreme human disconnection. Musicassa brings people back together by unlocking the power of in real life home concerts and turning homes into the venues of the future. In the US, there are 73 million households belonging to people that already consume live music, driving a potential $13 billion in sales. We are starting in the 15 million homes belonging to US Hispanics, the largest live music consumer group in the country. My name is Beatriz Ayala. I am the founder and CEO of Musicassa, and I'm one of them. Our homes have been venues for generations, hosting people to share food, culture, and music. We've just never monetized it, and we are changing that. Welcome to Musicassa, a community platform where people can list their homes to host intimate and profitable home concerts with emerging artists. Think of it as Tiny Desk meets the global scale of Airbnb hosting. Let me show you how it works. The host lists their home to host a concert. They can then pay for the experience or sell tickets and make a profit, and we then match them with curated artists. Here are the economics of one show. The host sells tickets, we then pay musicians, we charge a platform fee, and after cost, the host makes money. In the last 2 years, we've done 250 Musicassas hosted by 40 people in just 2 markets. Last year, we doubled our revenue, and this year, we're growing in double digits. Up next, we'll drive scale by growing hosts, launching our tech platform, and expanding to other markets. After that, we're going nationwide. 61,000 hosts hosting 73,000 Musicassas, generating $70 million in sales. And that's just the beginning. Every home around the world is a Musicassa in the making. We are early, we are funded, and we are led by a team of women. So turn your casa into a Musicassa, and together, let's become the largest venue network in the world. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Beatriz. Very cool concept. I'm sure there'll be questions from the panelists, so we'll go ahead and open up.
Yeah, I've got a question. It's Kate here. Yeah, we have similar kinds of initiatives in Berlin, but not with a platform. So it's very interesting. I'm wondering what the benefits are to your platform as opposed to using something like Eventbrite or Facebook events.
Right. Thank you so much for that question. So
or even Meetup.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're building the first peer-to-peer marketplace that allows people to list their homes, monetize their homes, and also be connected to an incredible curated list of artists where all the logistics are handled for them, meaning the negotiation with the artist, timing, availability. It's all productized so that it can happen instantaneously. And then these people can go into your home and you can share the co-creation of that experience with the users. Different to an Eventbrite or a Meetup, particularly where you have organizers that can potentially organize and plan any sort of event. We're highly focused on live music, specifically because 91% of the industry in terms of musicians don't have venues where they can perform and share their stories. So this is really a win-win in terms of being able to host from your home and monetize an asset that you otherwise wouldn't be able to, and also giving exposure and a amplification to artists' voices that don't have a place where to perform.
I have a question. How do you handle insurance and liability issues?
That's one of the key questions that we're looking to answer in the current fundraising that we're doing. Today, we have a general liability that covers the basics. If someone falls, if someone steals something, knock on wood, 250 Musicassas and nothing has happened, but we are not naive to know that something will happen as we start to scale and grow. So the idea here is to choose if we replicate what Airbnb did, in which they cover the majority of the liability for their hosts, and that's sort of like one of the value adds, or if we go the airline route, in which you can add on an insurance and pay $25 to cover some of the basics of having a concert in your home, right? Another thing that we're researching as of now is what could potentially fall under the existing homes insurance host, because these gatherings are already happening. It's just that we're giving them the tools to actually monetize it and scale it in a different way.
And what do you do about like alcohol? In a lot of places it's legal for younger people to drink, but in plenty of places, including the United States, you have to be older. I mean, these are sort of like party situations. Who's going to police that?
So these are our main target are people 30 to 55 years old. That's 100% of our target user is that. These are not parties, these are concerts. So it changes the dynamic of how people go about it. Plus they only last 2 hours. Another thing is that they are community driven, do-it-yourselfers. So a lot of them are BYOB, where the host gets to decide how the guest has to show up. So bring your picnic blanket. It's dog friendly. You can bring your wine. And the whole idea is for everyone to be able to share with each other.
So what is your user agreement for this? I imagine that people have to have, there are zoning ordinances and noise restrictions and things like that you have to make sure, you're not sending a musician into a situation where they're going to get, or in trouble with the legal authorities.
Yes. So in the 2 markets that we currently operate, the noise ordinance, it's before 10 p.m. So all of our concerts end at 10 p.m. There's no music after that time. So with our product, we are able to control at what time the music can actually start to ensure that I don't like this word, but that we're policing how does the experience actually go about. And then in terms of permits, in Florida and Puerto Rico, you don't need permits if you're doing events that are less than 100 people. That changes city to city. So from an operational perspective, we have to do the research of what's true in LA and what's true in New York City, for example. But because these are gatherings, again, that are already happening, and we're just bringing the tool of being able to do it with more access, more curation, and building culture within your space, we're not foreseeing that this is going to be a huge barrier of entry in the cities that we're entering.
Hey, Beatrice, I have a question. I'm calling from Nashville, Tennessee. And so this sort of platform is very exciting for musicians here in Nashville, I'm sure. I think that something that comes to mind is that when you're inviting people into your home, you want to make sure that not only your house is secure, but also your person is secure. And so what sort of lessons have you taken in from Airbnb, Uber, other big names that apply to vetting the people that are going to be able to use your platform?
Absolutely. One of the things that we're going to implement, that's one of the first things in our product roadmap after MVP launches this month, is identity verification. One of the main reasons that we want to drive credibility and safety, trust. The word is trust, credibility and trust, right? So we know already that that's one of the features that for Airbnb and Uber, it creates a sense of trust and belonging. The second thing is that because we are a platform that prioritizes community, and the community itself plays a big role in how these gatherings are curated, we are allowing for hosts to decide the rules of their venues. So these hosts get to decide if it's private or public, and they pay for the experience. If it's private or public, or they sell tickets. If it's open to the public, who are the types of people that are open to come to Musicassa, right? So with our product, we'll be able to secure and control how these concerts are pushed out from an audience perspective. The other thing is that we are a platform created for gathering and consuming culture and music. So it's people won't be doing this with the intention of doing something that goes against the policy of the company, which happened with Airbnb. They're not a events company, they're a travel company. So a lot of people were doing events secretly because they were trying to take advantage of that. We don't have that problem because we are created exactly for that, right? And one of the things that we've been able to learn is that people actually want the access to do something that's enriching and nurturing for the soul. And we all know, well, that music does that for all of us.
Can I just ask, so Airbnb took quite a long time to actually make a profit, and a lot of that was to do with lots of licensing and things like that. When do you expect to make a profit, and how are you going to scale?
Yes, so that's a great question. So from a profitability perspective, we are right now in the process of testing different unit economics, trying to find out what's the sweet spot and how do we move a lot of the risk of the concert happening from Musicassa so that it falls under the host, because we're paying them and we're paying them well, so that we can share some of that responsibility, and we make sure that we're making money for every concert that we're executing. So right now, what that looks like is that we have a revenue split of 40% to musicians, 30% to hosts, 26% to Musicassa, the rest go to credit card fees. So when we plan on the 5-year long plan, and we all know that that's going to change, we're hitting cash flow positive in year 5, right? And the way that we scale this is by being very choiceful about the tier 1 and tier 2 cities that we're going to go into first, starting with the US Hispanic market, as I explained, for 2 reasons. They already are the largest consumer group in the country. They already do these home gatherings from their space. They've never monetized it. So we're prioritizing those cities. And then from those cities, we're going to be choosing the specific zip codes that we're going to be sort of like saturating in order to hit critical mass, so that then we can replicate that across the nation. What does that look like? It'll change and vary on a city per city cases, but we know right now our number 1 source of acquisition is word of mouth and referral programs, followed by paid acquisition. So those are some of the things that we already know we can replicate because of the different networks that we have in the different cities that we want to expand. But that's a great question, and something that we want to make sure that we're not following the steps of an Uber or whatnot, that we want to make sure that everyone's making money from day one.
All right. Well, Beatrice, thanks so much. Looks like a really cool thing you're building too. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our next startup, everybody. I'm going to bring on Katya from Citrus. Katya, give me 1 second and I'll give you the presenter role. Oh, you should be able to actually, Katya, go ahead and share your screen now. Let me know. All righty. I can see your screen. You're on the 2030 slide.
Can you hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, hear you loud and clear, and we can see your screen as well.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready, feel free to start, and I'll start the timer.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Just give me a sec. Okay, great. So everything is ready, right?
You're all set whenever you're ready to start.
Great, I'm ready. Okay, by 2030, 92% of the countries will experience extreme hot waves, causing 250,000 additional deaths per year. To avoid that, we have to reduce the greenhouse emissions by 45% by 2030. Hi, I am Katya, and I'm the CEO of Citrus. We are an engineering company specialized in technology to decarbonize production processes in the industry. Why the industry? Because it is the engine of an economy in terms of growth, jobs, and social development. For the industry to function, it demands energy. And the most demanded form of energy in the industry is heat, not electricity. And by heat, we mean steam and hot water. To generate heat, fossil fuels are being burned, producing CO2 emissions. Fortunately, many companies are already committed to reduce their emissions and are looking for solutions. We have the most effective solution. We provide solar concentrator technology, specially designed for the industrial needs. We already started the energy transition. We have projects installed in Mexico that reduce 200 CO2 tons and replace 100,000 cubic meters of natural gas every day. Our business model is to sell heat as a service. The prices we offer in the energy, it's very competitive comparing what they are already paying in natural gas or other fossil fuels. The customer doesn't pay the solar installation, just the energy. What's next for Citrus? Due to the increasing demand of this solution, we will install in Mexico a production line of the most efficient solar concentrators in the world. With this production line, we will make a strong economic, environmental, and social impact. To achieve this impact, we are about to open an investment round, so stay tuned for upcoming news. Thank you.
All righty, thank you, Katya. Great presentation, and under time as well, which I always appreciate. We'll go ahead and we'll open up for questions from the panelists.
So it sounds like you're operating out of Mexico. Do you have customers so far?
Yes, we have customers, multinational companies, basically in the food process industry and cosmetic industry. We have already installed 5 projects in Mexico with the technology, and yeah, we are ready to scale the solution to produce in Mexico and achieve very low production costs and offer cheap energy for the industrial customers.
Katya, what does the solar concentrators that you're building, what does it replace? What are people using now?
Yeah, this is a very important question. Normally, when everybody talks about solar panels or solar energy, everybody thinks about energy and these flat photovoltaic panels that you may even have in your houses. But the solar concentrator technology is designed to heat water up to 160 degrees Celsius or create steam. So we are replacing, or we are functioning as an industrial steam boiler in the industry. So, and why it's called solar concentrator? Because the design is a half parabolic trough that it works like concentrating the energy into a tube, and in this tube we are pumping water. So after the sun is heating the water, we can produce steam. And this is a very, very game-changing in the industry, because we are relying, and the industry is relying in steam boilers, burning gas, especially natural gas. And you all know all the problems with the natural gas supply, demand, and prices. So we are replacing gas, and we are replacing steam boilers to produce heat. And in an industry, they consume more heat than electricity. And so we are addressing a very specific market, which is the industry, and also which is the heat energy. And we are very specialized on that.
So you're going to market yourself as a greener option, a more environmentally friendly option than what's available now. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes. And we have a very good traction now. We are dealing with 30 projects, millionaire projects to install in different industries. So the companies have the pressure first to reduce their CO2 emissions. Most of the companies have net zero goals by 2030 already, and they are already buying green energy and electricity. But the other side, the other side of the coin is still missing, which is to replace gas in their manufacturing plants. So we are the green solution. And also in terms of economical benefit for the industry, it's important because we, after the payback of the project, they are having free energy for 25 years. So this is also a game changer to maintain the profitability of the companies.
And who actually pays for the transition of the technology to the solar technology you're talking about?
Yeah, in our business model, we, Citrus, we pay the infrastructure, the solar collectors. We do all the build, construction, and operation. And the customer, the only thing that he has to do is to sign a contract, a heat purchase agreement with us, and they buy the energy from us at a very competitive price for the duration of the contract. So it's like if they are changing suppliers, instead of paying the gas bill, they will pay us the solar heat energy.
So this may be too nuts and bolts, but your corporation or your organization would build the solar concentrators on site for, let's say, a Coca-Cola plant, or are you having a central location like a utility?
Yeah, okay, this is a little bit different from the electricity market, because these solar heat energy plants have to be built in the site of Coca-Cola, for example, right? And then through the hydraulic connection, we connect the steam or the hot water to the processes, whatever they need. this is, and then they will buy the energy from us. We invest in all the infrastructure. But I also want to mention that there are companies that want to own the system, so they can buy also the system with their capex and be part of their assets. And we are always looking for a return of investment less than 5 years. So this is very attractive because the lifetime of this system is 25 years. So we have also this option. And the manufacturing plant will be situated in Mexico. And from there, we will be able to mass produce at a very low cost the solar concentrators to supply to many, many companies in Mexico and beyond.
I'm curious about maybe a bit about maybe firstly the genesis of the company, like in terms of R&D, like was it from a university spin-off or where did it come from? And secondly, do you have any direct competitors for this specific type of solar catcher?
Yeah, well, actually me and my partner, we're coming from the industrial and healthcare background, and me, especially my family business, I grew up in industry, visiting manufacturing plants, so I have it in the ADN, but I'm not an engineer. I study marketing, but I identified this market need. So we made a collaboration with a Swedish technology company in Sweden. They designed this solar concentrator technology over 20 years, and they already have 10 years of commercial experience. So this technology is already proven in many companies around the world, and we are their partner to produce in Mexico. So part of this collaboration is that we have the know-how and the engineering to be executed in this part of the country, and we also work together with engineering.
And are you planning to only operate in Mexico, or are you planning to expand into other countries?
Yeah, we're planning to expand to other Latin American countries. That's why we will put the production line in Mexico. We have a very good geographical location to export the solar concentrators in Americas.
Awesome. Well, Katya, thank you so much. Really impressive what you built. So congratulations. Thanks for sharing it with us.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, folks. Moving along, we'll bring on Deanna Ballard from the Smart Lollipop. Deanna, give me 1 second and I can allow you to share your screen.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure thing. All righty, you should be able to share your screen whenever you're ready, Deanna.
Yes, yes, I can. Okay, could you see my screen now?
Yep, we can see your screen and hear you loud and clear. So whenever you're ready, just go ahead and start.
Okay, thank you. So let's go. Don't you think that this is a barbarity? Blood analysis was born in the 19th century, and we continue to carry on this practice, knowing that in the 21st century, medicine is fortunately so different. It was necessary to find an innovative solution to improve this medical experience. So it's then when we thought about another fluid that we all have, saliva. So what can we offer to a child to collect the sample in an easy way and transform this negative experience? The answer is the Smart Lollipop. The Smart Lollipop is a medical device based in a smart candy that analyzes saliva to detect disease. How it works? It's really simple. The patient can eat it like a regular lollipop. And during this, we're collecting saliva thanks to the microfluidic channels. Then when the child finishes, we collect the candy and place it on the reader side. And in 10 minutes, we'll have the result of the diagnosis digitalized in an online platform. For the diagnosis and the disease monitoring, we choose two first lines, hypercholesterolemia and celiac disease. And the scalability of the Smart Lollipop is to develop different biosensors to have several diagnoses, always working with saliva. Now, the Smart Lollipop have two business models. The first one is a B2B for hospitals and private health insurance insurance companies. And in a second phase is a B2B2C for pharmacies. Our go-to-market is a 2024 because nowadays we are developing the product for the first clinical trial this year. And now, who drives the Smart Lollipop? You'll find an amazing team with different backgrounds. And I'm Deanna Ballard, CEO and co-founder, and it's a pleasure to present the Smart Lollipop in this international event. For all of that, we hardly believe that the Smart Lollipop is a change of paradigm on the diagnosis test. So at the end, we only have two options: continue in the past or work for the future. Thank you very much.
Deanna, very cool. And I hate needles, so maybe if they work for adult men as well, let me know.
Yes, yes. Also for adult, but the first phase is pediatrician, yes.
Super cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and open up for the media panel.
But Deanna, you're comparing this to a needle, saying it would replace a needle, but swabs and needles, there are different tests. So why are you comparing it to a needle instead of a swab? And a swab is not really a traumatic experience, I think, for a kid, just a swab. So I'm wondering, what tests are you comparing it to with needles, and why that instead of a swab?
Do you want to say that the action to spit is not difficult? You want to say that or not?
No, I'm wondering why you're comparing the pop to getting a needle, because swab tests are not the same tests that you would use a needle for.
No, where I compare because it's about the first problem to solve is experience, because we want to solve the negative experience from that. And the second phase is that with saliva, we can detect several diagnoses. And there are a lot of diagnoses that nowadays are asymptomatic, and that doctors can do this test. For that, we compare these two, for the experience and for the diagnosis that today we can do.
A related question, maybe this is what you're also asking. So how many tests are there that you can use the Lollipop for that you would traditionally use a blood test for?
With a Lollipop, nowadays we have two lines that are hypercholesterolemia and celiac disease. But the important way is that our research is constantly, because different lollipops, it means different biosensors for have another diagnosis. No?
How many tests can it run? I think she's trying to. How many test results can you get from this?
Nowadays,
two.
Yes, nowadays two, for hypercholesterolemia and celiac disease, because one disease is one biosensor. This is really important. The saliva test can be like blood test that with one test you can have different diagnosis. With saliva, if we want to do like a lab on a candy here, it's necessary to develop different biosensors. So one biosensor is one diagnosis.
Okay.
In terms of celiacs, I mean, it's not really a diagnosis completely, because even with blood tests and celiacs, you're not entirely diagnosing it. You have to get a biopsy. And I just wonder what the accuracy is as well in terms of detecting gluten is basically what it does, right?
For example, in the case of celiac disease, in the pediatric sector, nowadays, always the doctor do the blood test. So it's what we do, not blood test, so saliva test. But in the monitoring disease, people that have this problem, every year have to do a blood test to see how the disease are working. And in our case, we can do a saliva test instead of blood test.
So it's for people who are already diagnosed with celiac.
Yes.
That should be quite clear, I think, in the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, do you have, I'm not sure if you're in the United States or planning to go there, but I think a test like this would require FDA approval. where you are now, do you have regulatory approval to use it as a medical device and a testing device?
Yes, we are working in Catalonia, in Spain, and we are doing all the clinical trials here in Spain and the regulatory too. And the first regulatory is to Europe. And later, when we'll go to the market, we want to do the FDA for to be in United States.
So is the actual device a lollipop? Like, does it actually have sugar on the outside that a child
Yes,
ingests?
it isn't sugar. We create the candy and we create it seems a sugar, but don't have sugar, protein, and another composition that can have problems with the biosensor. But the user experience that we do some tests with some child, it's like candy, and we have different flavors. So the child can say, okay, I want to the strawberry or the watermelon, that it's fantastic. This, so it's like candy, but it isn't really.
So this has been asked in a few different ways by other people, but what's the difference in results? Like when you compare doing the blood tests with your tests, how much more or less accurate are they?
No, when I compare it, is for the experience is, but the result is the same with blood test and saliva test. The clinical trials that we'll do here in Spain in 2 hospitals is where we demonstrate that saliva with our Lollipop and blood test are the same. This is the aim of the clinical trials.
How are you funding those trials?
Excuse me, okay?
How are you funding?
Nowadays we have 2 public grants from Europe and Spain. Also some economic prize from Little Competition. And last week we closed our first private round.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It was last week. And we can communicate it on September. So public grants and private funds.
All right, Deanna, well, congratulations on everything. Congratulations on the most recent funding round as well. Thanks for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we'll move along. We're going to go ahead and bring up Paz Vega with Aitaka. I hope I'm saying that right and I'm not butchering it, Paz.
Yes, you are doing it great. You are saying
cool.
it perfect.
All right, let me go ahead and give you the co-host role.
Okay.
All right, you should be able to present now whenever you're ready.
Okay, so just if you can confirm. Let me just check so you can if you confirm that you see my screen correctly.
Yep, can see it and we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. So talking to my sister, who is a humanitarian worker, she explained me that one of the weakest points in the detection of child malnutrition is the lack of diagnosis. The way to identify it is by measuring the child's arm circumference. It's a slow, expensive process, and it depends on the person taking the measurement. But then I realized that taking body measurements affects many more industries. On one hand, doctors, nutritionists, and personal trainers are professionals who need accurate anthropometry. There is a growing trend to move to remote services to increase productivity, decrease cost, and improve the client experience. On the other hand, we have the fashion retail sector, where approximately 30% of online purchases end up being returned, usually due to problems with sizes, which represent a 10% loss of turnover. Reverse logistics is not only an economic problem, but also has an enormous environmental impact. That's how Aitaka was born. We offer a SaaS to calculate a person's body measurement without the need of a tape measure. We have developed an artificial intelligence model that extracts body measurements from 4 pictures of a person. This problem is a concern in the industry, and other companies have developed body scanner technologies, although most require the purchase of machinery. However, with our technology, anyone with a smartphone camera can extract reliable measurements easily and quickly. Our market is not only diverse, but it's also quite wide. Depending on their needs, clients can directly use our technology or integrate it via API. We are currently starting the first pilots, and once validated, we will carry out an investment round that will allow us to deploy in our first customers. We believe that the key of the success of this project is the people who are part of it. Apart from the Ithaca team, we have also ambassadors from the different sectors. We believe in a world where we can harness the full potential of cutting-edge technologies with the goal of generating positive social change, because body measurements has never been so easy.
All righty, fantastic. Thank you very much, Paz, for that. And under time as well, let me go ahead and we'll open it up to media judges as well before my timer goes off on the stage.
Okay. I have,
please go ahead.
hi. I'm not clear how you're using AI in this actually. Can you explain that?
Yeah, sure. There are actually there is two models here. The first one is the process of the background removal, because we first get the pictures and we get the background removal, and then we calculate, we do 3D body, and from there we get all the measurements. So there are actually several networks, neural networks playing a role here.
Thank you.
There are quite a few other companies that do similar things like this. What makes yours different?
Well, basically, we have two different types of competitors. The first ones that are mainly focused on health. They do scanning technology. So nutritionists or doctors need to buy a mirror with cameras or a scan. So it's an investment and it's not focused for the final user to do it from their home. And then from the retailing perspective, there are actually applications that are doing size prediction, but they are not based on the actual body measurements of the person. They are based on either statistical, either people has to take the measurement and then put them inside, and then they will tell you which is the best size, but they are not actually measuring the person.
Thank you.
So Paz, are your customers e-commerce retailers who are selling clothes, or are your customers people who want to know their own body measurements?
They are the business. So basically the client is the user. My client is the company, but the user, the final user is their clients.
And you have customers already, retailers that are using this online?
We are doing the first test, and we will go with the first clients probably the beginning of next year. We already have intentions, like people already interested, but we are still doing the internal tests.
And is it something? And how big is your team? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Emma.
How big is your team? Sorry.
Yeah, so we are right now we are 6 people actually, because last week joined the marketing person, and we will be growing as soon as we get where we are waiting for some money to come, and then we'll for sure join more people. We are 6 right now.
So this would require people to put in some personal data about themselves, their height, weight, size, age, maybe. What are you doing to make sure that personal data is protected, and where is it stored?
So we are running everything on Amazon Web Services. So everything is encrypted and everything is secure. Actually, the most delicate data that we are using are pictures. We are not asking for personal data. But we need the pictures, and pictures are processed and then deleted from all the systems.
Awesome. Any other?
So a retailer wouldn't remember my body measurements?
Sorry?
So a retailer that is a client of yours wouldn't remember my body measurements? I'd have to do it like brand new every time?
It really depends on them because measurements will store. So it depends on them and their privacy policy and whatever that you need, because they will have to tell you what is going to happen, and then you will sign the conditions with them.
All right, Paz. Well, thank you so much. Great presentation. We'll move on to the last two startups. I wanted to take a quick moment for a PSA. Judges, if you could, please remember to continue to score along in the doc so we can announce. We'll be running a little short on time, so just making sure that everybody has their scores filled out as well. We'll move on to our next startup. I'm going to bring on Mayara from Troca. Mayara, give me 1 second and I will give you the presenter role.
Okay. Can you hear me?
All righty. Yeah, we could hear you. And you should be able to share your screen now if you're interested in doing so.
Is it?
Yeah, I can see your screen. It's not in the full presenter mode, it doesn't look like, but we can see it just the same, nice and easy.
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready, please just go ahead and start.
Can I start?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, my name is Mayara and I'm Troca's founder. But before I talk about Troca, I need to talk about an urgent problem that is happening here in Brazil. Today, we have more than 11 million people in an unemployment situation, and 82% of this group is part of diverse group. This scenario makes no sense to us. When we see the market, we notice that the companies are struggling to manage the diversity. It shows that companies want but are not prepared to develop diversity. Then, to solve that, we create Mais Justa, a diversity data analysis platform. But we create more than just analytics. We create D&I intelligence. Through the interactive dashboard and the diversity score, companies understand what level they are and how they can improve. The case with Wavin was incredible, as we can understand what stage the company was and where they should focus to improve D&I indicators. In the future, it will be a management diversity and inclusion platform, solving all the diversity problems in one place. Our business model is SaaS, and we charge companies a monthly fee. We already have early adopter with small, medium, and large companies. This is my team. They love what they do, and they are committed to change the world. Troca, uniting people, companies, and cause to create a more equal society. Thanks.
All right, Mayara. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And thanks for calling in from Brazil as well. I think there's some democracy protests going on today as well. So thanks very much for taking the time to speak. We'll go ahead. We'll open it up. I'm curious as well. I haven't heard from Dominique in a while, and Emma too. If anybody has any questions, or Navanita as well. I don't want to put anybody on blast.
So can you explain a little bit more what the difference between Troca and Justa are? Like, you've got two different projects that are connected and doing different things.
Justa is like our product, digital project of Troca. The Troca is having other things related to diversity and inclusion, and the Justa is like the digital project, the platform.
So how does it work? Is it a tool that HR recruiters would use to screen candidates? Like, how does it work?
We have like a survey that it's anonymous. It's anonymous for the people from company, and then we can use this data to see the dashboard and the other things related to that. And you can see also a score, a diversity score, that you understand what's the level and what you can do related with diversity inclusion in your company.
Mayara, there are actually a number of diversity and inclusion software tools on the market in HR software already. I'm curious, how do you differentiate your tool? And then does it also integrate with the popular HR software tools that big companies already use?
And you can use the integrated our platform with the companies. Then you can use the other, like other types of search that you have in your companies, and integrate with our platform to generate this intelligence and data analytics. Do you understand? I respond to your question.
So it would plug into whatever HR software you already have, and then pull data from that to give you some analysis.
I don't understand. Can you repeat?
So how does it collect the data? Does it work with an HR tool that a company already has about their employees?
Yes, we have like a server that the companies send to all your people from company, and then they respond to that and generate this data.
Awesome. Mayara, thank you so much. Really appreciate the presentation, and congrats as well on everything you guys are building.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we have one last presenter. I wanted to really quickly before, again, I know I harp on this, but if we could make sure we have all of our scores in after we finish up the questions for this last presenter. And then Helene, if you wouldn't mind passing those scores as well over to Alex so she can announce them in just a few. Really excited to have this next person come speak to us. We have Agnieszka Wilk, who is the CEO and co-founder of Decarilla. Agnieszka, please go ahead and come on screen. I don't think you have a something to share correctly, so no worries about sharing your screen.
No worries. Can you hear me, Jim?
Yeah, loud and clear. And whenever you're ready, Agnieszka, we'll go ahead and we can start the timer.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, I'm so thrilled to meet you ladies and impressed by all of your backgrounds, and thank you all for the great presentations as well. Well, I'm excited to tell you about Decarilla. Decarilla is an online platform that connects customers with professional vetted interior designers who create curated 3D spaces based on customer style preferences and budget. The platform really enables users to set foot into their newly designed rooms, even if they don't exist yet, and so that they can make the most informed purchase decisions. We actually launched Decarilla over 9 years ago now, and we're completely bootstrapped. We serve clients across the country online, and we also offer in-home design services in 20 major metros across the US. We have a team of over 300 vetted interior designers. We've had more than 10,000 apply now, and we have over 350 furniture partners on board our custom e-commerce platform. Decarilla was actually the first interior design firm to offer virtual reality to clients, and we've been lucky enough to be featured as the leader in the world of tech meets interior design in publications like New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and CBS. And that's a little bit about Decarilla. So thank you all again for sharing everything, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
How does Decarilla make money?
There's two ways. We have two revenue streams. One is through design fees. So we take a portion of the design fees and we pay our designers a portion. And we also make money through furniture commission. So we do mass volume furniture discounts with our over 350 furniture partners. And because we do such big volume, we're able to negotiate really good rates that no one else can get. And so we give our clients some of those discounts so they always know they're getting the best price through Decarilla, much better than they can get on their own. And we also take furniture commission for ourselves to cover our costs. And everyone, so it's a win-win situation for the vendors who don't have to pay real estate or salespeople, and it's seamless API integration a lot of the time. It's win for our designers. They don't have to market. They can just kind of worry about being creative. And it's win for us because we love what we do. And our designers and our team is, very happy and passionate to help people live in beauty and comfort. And really, a lot of the people that start projects, most of them save more through our furniture discounts than they pay for the design fee.
How do people who don't have dedicated like VR equipment experience the 3D space?
Yeah, VR is, so when we launched 9 years ago, we were always really focused on tech, but VR didn't exist then. But we did do the photorealistic 3D renderings from day one. So it's a nice natural progression. And VR is just an upgrade, actually. So most clients would do the 3D photorealistic views on the platform without the VR, but they can upgrade and buy the headset. And I would say that's a low number of people who are very, very tech savvy. But they get such a good view and multiple revisions and everything's custom. They can integrate their existing pieces along with their new pieces. It's not your cookie cutter design. We do everything from gut renovations to simple decorations. So we do a lot of kitchens, bathrooms, and all online. Mostly, we do have the option of in-home in 20 cities.
And what's next? What are your plans for the coming 9 years?
Well, really scaling the technology. Super excited. One of the most recent launches that we're about to launch next month is called the Platinum Service, and there's nothing else like it for online. We've had a lot of really high-end clients come to us and say we want a little more high touch. Customization, we want specific brands, we want project manage, like a dedicated project management and more designer calls. Everything's done on our platform, communication and whatnot, but we've developed like a platinum process for those clients. So just, more customization, streamlining, making the interior design process easy. So our clients feel like they're really working with an in-home designer and getting even better service. Most of our clients say they get better service with Decarilla than a traditional interior designer, even if they've worked with one before. And that's kind of the goal, is to continue in that direction and make it streamlined and more affordable for everyone.
So as an end user, what I know Sherwin-Williams has an app where you just take a picture of the room and you choose your colors. Is it similar to that for the end user, do you have to put in all your dimensions and answer style questions? Like how do you determine what a person's style and choices are and get all that information in a timely, easy way?
Yeah, great question. So we do have a really fun style quiz that they can start with to get that. We also have an interactive questionnaire where they can upload their pictures, submit a floor plan, give us more details of what they want to keep. We have instructions of, do you upload pictures of items you want to keep? How do you do that? And then we also have designers in 20 cities that can go there and do the intake for them. But a lot of people, especially with COVID, they were really looking for this option of not having someone to go to their home. And we had this platform kind of ready for them and all the tools they needed to really assess. And then our projects team also, if we're missing any information at the beginning of a project, they'll reach out and ask. And it's really interactive. So you're in constant communication with the designers. You get design proposals from 2 of our vetted designers based on your requirements, and they're totally custom. And then you can give feedback to your designers, to both the designers. They can edit the designs. You're chatting with them. When you're comfortable with one designer, you choose your very favorite one and you move on to the 3D phase. So the initial proposals are 2D mood boards, but they're very detailed and they're to scale as well. But then once you choose your favorite based on the visual proposal, you move on to the 3D rendering phase, and then you get the photorealistic 3D renderings, which will look exactly like your home with your existing pieces. If you have any, you get a shopping list. We have a white glove shopping concierge service. So when you check out, you might have 20 different stores, and you can honestly just press add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, and check it all out on one place. And our ordering team will coordinate deliveries. You'll see where everything's at, and we'll help you coordinate everything like that. So you don't have to deal with returns from 20 different vendors. You have one go-to place to do all of that, and you're shopping in one place as well and getting the best discounts too. So, but it's a very standardized input and then constant communication with your designer.
All righty, cool, Agnieszka. Well, congrats again on everything you've built, and for another 9 years. Cheers, cheers.
Thank you. 9 years this month.
Awesome, cool, cool. All right, well, everybody, that wraps up the presenting portion of this. So first off, I'd just like to say thanks to all of the startups had the guts to come on and pitch in front of the media panel. Judges, if you could you just take 30 seconds to finalize the scorecard, and we'll go ahead and tally up those scores. A quick reminder as well, anybody out there looking for PR help, please feel free to contact info@publicize.co or myself, jim@publicize.co. While the panelists are tallying up and we're getting our final results, we're going to bring on somebody to help me out announce the winner of the Connect Women Innovators competition. I'm really pleased to have Alex Carrasco, who's head of communications for the ISDI Accelerator, the technology accelerator from the ISDI Business School, which is one of Spain's largest educational institutions. The accelerator organizes startup programs for organizations like UNICEF, Toyota, as well as the European Commission, among many others. So Alex, again, thanks so much for being here today. I'll go ahead and bring you up on screen, and maybe if you can give us a little background about yourself, about ISDI Accelerator, and then you can announce the winners.
Okay, thank you so much, Jim. Thank you for asking me to give the first, second, and third place. It's really an honor being here, getting to listen to to all the pitches from the startups that have been really, really great, and a great variety of different things happening. And also it's a real pleasure to be able to listen to the biggest media publications here. It's really great. I've been working at ISDI Accelerator for 3 years now. I've always been in my professional life working in different startup accelerators, and mainly it's supporting startups, and I would say that is my passion. That's in what I've evolved. I have a art background, art degree, but because of where I've worked and everything, it's evolved. And I definitely have not any tech background, or even the studies. I did do a master's degree at ISDI now, and I can say that I'm slightly more techie, but I think I'm really lucky to be able to be involved in the startup ecosystem, investment ecosystem, and all this. And I'm really happy the fact that my job, literally, and what I get paid for, is to help startups. So thank you everyone that's been involved in everything. And yeah, as I said, we do manage several different startup programs, acceleration, also regarding SMEs and maybe other kind of format of startup or company. normally under directions of, European Commission, a certain specific program, or with our, corporate innovation clients. Although in general, we always have other opportunities that are not constrained to, our clients' needs or the European Commission needs. And this is, where I'll make sure I connect with absolutely everybody on LinkedIn. I'm sure some of you have already received my petition to connect, but from all the different acceleration programs, we also have our investors club, and just like a huge ecosystem of things happening, mentors and this and that. So I think there's always opportunity of working together, and maybe some of you, work as mentors and are looking for mentoring opportunities. The startups, maybe you guys, you're raising funds and you're looking to, tap into our ecosystem of investors. We have an investors club, so I'll be more than happy to connect with all of you. And if you want to know more about the accelerator and everything, I tend to put the most important things on LinkedIn so that everybody knows, and happy to meet anybody if you want to know more. And with no further ado, I'm gonna announce this month who's is it okay? Should I announce it already, Jim? Just go ahead.
I think everybody's on the edge of their seat. So it's
Okay.
about time. Yeah. And by the way, for the media panel and everybody who's a panelist, it's a little low budget. So if you want to go ahead and turn on your, turn on your microphones, we do a little drum roll. We can also clap and give everybody cheers. All right. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, don't maybe Kate, there's a echo from yours.
Yeah. I don't know why.
About that. Maybe I was a little premature in saying we should turn on the
Sorry for making it. Third place with a let's see. Third place is Agnieszka Wilk with Decorilla. So
all right. Congrats,
well done.
Agnieszka.
Congrats. And I'm not sure if Jim, if Agnieszka wants to speak. I don't remember if there's little space for Agnieszka.
Sure, Agnieszka. Yeah, congratulations. Thanks so much, Agnieszka.
Thank you. This was so much fun and very informative and really great questions and feedback for us all. So really, really appreciate this time. And I know you're all busy, but thank you again. Thank you again.
Great work.
Great, thanks. And the second place goes to really cool, which is Beatriz Ayala from Musicassa. So
all right.
Congrats.
Yay.
Congrats, Beatriz.
Thank you, everyone. Love the questions. Helps us prepare better for other media pitches and investor meetings, in which I'm in the middle of. So thank you.
For sure. And Beatrice is going to invite us all to her house for a concert as well in celebration of this.
Yes, I will.
All right. All right, Alex. And who do we have who's taken home the gold today?
Well, the number one goes to Katya Bernal with Citrus.
All right, Katya.
So congratulations.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. Thank you very much for the invitation and sorry, my little dog. Sorry. She's also excited.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys, and let's keep on working all together. And also congrats to my colleagues that I think we as women are really changing the world.
Beautiful. Well, congrats again. It's really impressive what you've built, Katya. Congrats to all of the startups who took a chance today. It's not easy to get up in front of a big audience and much less a media panel and pitch your story. So congratulations to everybody. I want to give a special thanks to both of our special guests today, Wenji Kai from Polymath Ventures and Alex Carrasco from ISDI Accelerator. Also for all of the media that took time out of their day. I know you guys are super busy, so thank you so much for taking your time out of the day to be with us and give feedback to all these growing startups. I also wanted to thank all of my colleagues, particularly Heleni. Heleni, for those I'm sure you know on the background, she really put all of this together and organized the event and invited everybody. So we really couldn't do it without her as well. So thank you so much, Heleni, for a great presentation.
Thank you, Jim. Also, congratulations to everybody today, not just the 3 winners, but each of the women entrepreneurs who presented their startup. It was really amazing to see what you're working on. I'm looking forward to hear more news in the future.
Cheers. Great for that. And thank you again. We look forward to hosting everybody for the next Connect event. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. And goodbye. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.